Season's 16-round length gave the drivers and the fans all the more entertainment during the final months of 2020. As the new year starts, the organizers have decided to one-up themselves, and this time, it's a full 25-round season spanning an entire year. The investment to win the championship is greater to an immense degree. We'll see who's put in the time as we get ready to watch round one of the Porsche Owners Club Series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is DJ Clark. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Crackers Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Starting off at a classic track like Silverstone will test the technical ability of our drivers, but it's also a very fast circuit. Let's head to our track guide to learn more. Welcome to Silverstone. Most famously known for being the first circuit to host a round of Formula One, this place has since become synonymous with British motorsports. Hosting everything from sports cars to touring cars to open wheels and even motorcycles, it's a track that fits a wide variety of vehicles. With 3 different layouts to choose from, you've got a little something for any level of racing. The longest of those layouts boasts 18 turns along 3.19 miles. That comes out to 5.13 kilometers in metrics, so it can take a bit to get around it, even in higher-powered machinery. Its main characteristics are the high-speed straights and corners and general lack of elevation change. Its most famous set of turns is most definitely the Maggots-Beckett sequence, in which anything with high downforce finds itself challenged with the rapid changes of direction. However, don't discount the first couple corners in this latest iteration of the track. Abbey and Farm often require a greatly balanced car and some serious bravery if you're side by side. Corners such as Village, Brooklyn, Stowe, and Vale see the majority of overtaking action, but in cars with less horsepower, expect the draft to offer other opportunities. The Hangar Straight is perhaps the most notorious for draft battles to erupt. All in all, this versatile racetrack located just northwest of London provides both history in its roots and action on the tarmac. The huge number of British fans that typically attend events are seldom left wanting. This newly renovated Silverstone, well, I guess I can't say newly anymore because it happened a decade ago at this point, but regardless, here on the sim, this is a fresh build of Silverstone that has been a long time coming. And DJ, with these 2 Porsche classes on it, I think it's going to be a fun time.
Oh, it's going to be spectacular. No matter what kind of car you take out at Silverstone, you are in for a good time and a good track. Obviously, danger areas that you're always going to be talking about, that Maggots-Beckett complex. It doesn't matter how much downforce you've got on the car. It is always tricky figuring out just when to get the power on, just when to brush the brakes, all of that. But in these cars, you're going to have some great opportunities to get passing done. Obviously, into the fast right-handed sweeper of Stowe corner, turn 15. Also, look at some good overtaking down into Brooklands, down that long straightaway. We could see a little bit of fight back in the arena section as well, and not to mention who's going to be gutsy enough to try to take Cops flat out.
Should be certainly a track that requires bravery here today. Before we get to the racing, though, we of course want to thank our sponsors, starting off with, naturally, Porsche. There is no substitute. Find out more about your local Porsche dealer at Porsche.com. And then, of course, Sunset Mortgage. Don't put your money in the bank, be the bank. Check them out today at sunsetcash.net. And then there's Octavio Tequila. Celebrate now. For a great tasting tequila, go to octaviotequila.com and purchase today. Also, Century Financial Consultants. Make the rest of your life the best of your life. You can check out their website at centuryretire.com. Now, as far as this first round goes, this is, of course, the first of 24. Got to correct myself here, DJ. But what else do our viewers need to know about today's event?
Well, in this first round, it's going to be the same as all of the other rounds. It is a multi-class field, meaning we are going to be racing the 718 GT4 and the 991 RSRs. So you're going to have some very, very interesting overtaking between multi-class fields here. We have a 30-minute opening qualifying session, which you're watching right now. So all cars out on track at the same time, followed by a 30-minute race. And this is the big kicker, Joe. It is completely open setup. So all of these real-life Porsche owners, they get to go in and fiddle around with these virtual cars and try to get the setups exactly to their liking around this fantastic Silverstone circuit.
Right now in that qualifying, Teddy Framheim, not a big surprise here, is our provisional pole sitter. And then Travis Brown in the GT4 class is our provisional pole sitter down there. Now, Travis, I believe, is a new name here in the series. I don't recall seeing him last season, so that should be one to watch out for. Could be challenging some of our regular runners there in that slower class. And also a very big field out here. That could affect the racing, as we've got 30 plus on the track, and well, lap traffic could still be a factor, as it is a 30-minute race, so it is going to be quick, but these cars go quite a bit slower here in these GT4s. Let's watch Travis Brown here finish up this lap, see if he can improve on that 2:13.3 as they come up to Vale, one of the places we could potentially see passes throughout this race. The thing that I also find worthy of note here, DJ, is some of these curbs are incredibly tall.
Yeah, they really are. It makes you really realize and appreciate when you see a Formula One car ripping around here just how much those suspensions can take. But in a little bit of a stiffer suspension car like these GT4s, if you get too much onto those curbs, it will deeply, deeply unsettle the car. So watch out for that as they come around. You know, I mentioned trying to push through cops and see if you can take that flat out. Well, when you come through there, if you brush that inside curb, as we watched John Monmeyer do it right there, if you brush that inside curb, it can bite you. And you can also see it right now as they work their way through that last corner. The sausage curbs on the inside, if you cut too much, you will nail into those sausage curves and you will be sent skywards, and chances are you're going to have some pretty significant car damage.
Yeah, these things run rather low slung to the ground, so I wouldn't count that. So we see Ost come through, not able to set a time that time by. Off tracks could be a bit of an issue, some of them with slowdown penalties, and they do have an incident limit here, so with all the paved runoff that a Formula One track comes with, they've got to be careful. Nielsen Lawrence, I love this paint scheme. Look at this. Talk about a blast from the past. I don't think John Player's Special sponsored Porsches back in the day, but still looks brilliant in that black and gold.
It certainly does. It feels right at home here at Silverstone. As there you see Salehi going on by, not able to improve his time. Jerry Freckleton putting that car up to P2 in the GT4 class. A bit of an off lap for him, so he'll be looking to do a bit better. And here comes Michael Robon starting a flying lap. He's currently sat down in 18th, California driver. And Michael W. Johnson starting a flying lap as well. So ticking over just over 6 minutes to go here in qualifying. These guys really starting to put down these hot laps to see if they can beat Brown and Framheim.
Rondeau around and out of the final corner with his Hot Wheels paint scheme. Sits in 15th. Doesn't improve that time by, so can still cycle around, see if he can go that little bit quicker. Travis Brown, in the meantime, our pole sitter in the GT4s, does go quicker and extends the gap over Freckleton to now 0.6 of a second. Really dominating everybody else here in these little Caymans.
Yeah, it looks like Brown's going to be trying to take a leaf out of Teddy Framheim's book as we watch Michael Ost working his way down here into this final Vale complex. As you said, good area for overtaking, as well as a good area to fight back if you are overtaken. That give and take there will really, really be nice. Looks like Ost comes across the line with a 59, not good enough for him, so he's going to be starting his flying lap here as we come down to 5 minutes to go.
Watching Nielsen Lawrence now come out of the final corner through Club, and behind him spin from Bolton, who I thought was going to use the slipstream to improve, but Lawrence does. He goes quicker, but he stays P11, unfortunately, so only a small improvement, and that doesn't really gain him anything realistic in this qualifying session. PJ Fulton now down and across the line. Looks like he might be abandoning the qualifying. He could still get out there and set a good one, as Abrams is on his first flyer. It appears that one a bit slow at 2 minutes flat for him. What about Jad Duncan? No, also a 2-minute lap.
Michael Robon also putting in a 2-minute lap, so we seem to be having a theme here out of these GT4s. Horace Knight, that is his first lap. I think that may potentially be an out lap with the 217. As he comes across, here comes Aaron Edwards, the California driver, currently 6th place, definitely on an out lap there. You can see just how high that time is. And as you see where that start-finish line is, where that timing and scoring line is, that's very important. It comes up very quickly. There it is right there as we watch Mark Rondeau crossing the line. So as we get into the last lap of this race, watch out for how quickly that comes. There will be no slipstreaming down a straightaway to try to get that last lap pass made. That's
for sure. Jim Slavic, in the meantime, and 17th, stays 17th. The lap not counting for him. Then you got Travis Brown. He's already 6 tenths ahead, and he goes even quicker, 7 tenths ahead now.
Brown just putting on an absolute masterclass here. Here comes Michael Ost back across, seeing if he can better his time. Crosses the line with a 55.985. That will be better for Ost. That's going to bump him up the order into 7th, but looks like Hagendick and Robinson setting in fastest laps as well. Paul Newton crosses the line, unable to improve.
And there's Matthew Hollander, and it looks like that one did not count for him. So we go to Corey Lotvilla, just ahead of him on the timing sheets, and his 56.5 is about half a second off of his fastest lap, so nothing doing there. Baccignone on the edge of control coming off the corner. Might have discounted that lap right there and then. And now he could have botched this second lap on top of it just with that one little mistake. As Jacob Abrams once again. Oh, no, actually, that was an improvement. 57.4. Did he actually gain a position with that, though? It doesn't look like it.
No, I don't think he did. Here comes Salehi back around again. Looks like Bayan had an off there, so that's going to be a very slow lap for him. Not going to be super pleased. He's going to want to get the power down. Here comes Horace Knight, that bright yellow livery screaming across the line. This is going to be good for Horace. Bumps up to a 2:14.871. That will put him into 4th in the GT4s.
Let's see. Rondeau going to be next, and as he crosses the line, that lap not going to count for him. Then it's Aaron Edwards in the blue number 5. Another one that had an off track somewhere around on that lap. Freckleton up next. Another one that doesn't count. There we go. Someone with one on the board. Jim Slavic. It is not faster, though. The 59.6 keeps him in 17th.
And it looks like Mo Meyer, another one that wasn't able to do it. But here comes Michael Ost. This lap will count if he can get it across the line, get himself a little bit faster. Michael crosses over with the 55.716. That will move him up to 4th place in those RSRs.
And Travis Brown does it again. A 2:12, the only Cayman now to get into the 2:12s, and that puts him a full 1.2 seconds ahead of Freckleton. Now, Freckleton is still out circulating, but he is on his last flying lap. He should be able to complete this one, but it'll be after the checkered flag falls, so he's got to hope that he's got good pace here.
Hamilton level of qualifying there from Brown, absolutely stellar. Here comes Baccignone coming across the line. He is currently 7th. That time cannot be right. I think that was an outlap for him. Yeah. That's way too fast. As BJ Fulton comes across, unable to improve. He is currently 3rd in that top category.
Robin also with a non-counting lap. It's pretty far separated at the top of our GTEs as well. Framheim 9/10 of a second of the next car in line, which was Matthew Robinson. Leahy not able to improve. Let's see who else is going to be next for us, as we got Jad Duncan locking him up down into Vale. That puts him slightly off the apex. the 981 tries to power off the final corner. He'll be the first to take the checkered flag. Is it quicker? No, it's not.
Not a lot of guys able to find time, but the checkered flag is out, so these are the last laps. Michael Bolton there clearly had it off, so his lap not going to count. He will stay 15th, but here comes Freckleton. Will he be able to usurp Travis Brown, or at least get close to him?
He's trying to push it as hard as he can, and he hasn't dove it into the pits, so he's going to try and count this one. 2:13.8 is his fastest time as he comes across. No, it does not count. He had an off track somewhere. Momeyer with his quickest at a 2:14.8, and it jumps him up one spot. Then we've got Paul Newton in 8th position, and that one not going to be any quicker.
No, so not a lot of guys able to find time, but Corey Locklaw hoping to break that bit of a curse. He's currently sat in P9, crosses the line, unable to go any faster. You see him getting out of the way there for Hagendick. Hagendick able to go faster, pops his way up to 5th, and here comes BJ Fulton, currently 3rd.
The only person I think that's likely to be able to overtake Framheim, but it'll need a huge margin. And he's not got it. He doesn't set his quickest, so he stays P3.
And here comes Salehi now. Salehi currently back in 14th. He's going to be hoping to be able to get a little bit better. He's one of 2 guys left, still circulating here. This may be a little close for Salehi. He does go faster. I'm not sure if that's going to bump him up at all. He's going to stay 14th even with that time. But here's our last runner, Michael Bolton.
I thought Bolton crossed the line already with the checkered flag, but he does seem to be running at a quick pace, so the 127 thinks he can go quicker than 15th. He doesn't dive into the pits, down through Vale, and then Club. The final corner leading right to the timing line. The car is absolutely all over the place as he tries to accelerate. And yes, he has finished his qualifying as that lap was not counted, so he's already taken the checkered flag. He's just getting a warm-up from here on out. Let's go through our starting grid today. Our GTE class is led by Teddy Framheim with a 0.9 of a second gap. It's Matthew Robinson next to him in 2nd, followed by VJ Fulton in P3. Michael Ost didn't get a single lap of practice in and still managed to put it in 4th with Eric Hagendijk in 5th place. Michael Johnson starts 6th with Doug Baccignone in P7. Paul Newton with an 8th will be followed by Corey Latvala in 9th. Matthew Hollander rounding out your top 10 of the field. Then you've got Nielsen Lawrence in 11th with Jacob Abrams in 12th, hopping up to these GTE cars after a dominant GT4 season last time. Jad Duncan is P13 and Bayan Salehi is 14th. Michael Bolton able to get P15, Mark Rondeau 16th, and Jim Slavic 17th. Outside of that row will be Michael Roban 18th. Connor Bloom did not set a time, and he does not appear to be in session, so he looks like he will not be gridding.
Lining up in P1 for that GT4 class is going to be Travis Brown with that mega lap of a 2:12. Jerry Freckleton, the best of the rest, behind him in that 2nd position. Behind him in row 11 will be Adam Fulton and John Momeyer. Horace Knight and Ron Palmer are going to be lining up behind them. Aaron Edwards will be rounding out the half-century mark in the total field, followed by Lane McNeil in 26th. Larry Haas in 27th, and Mehmet Karasi in 28th. As you said, Connor Bloom not setting a time, doesn't look like he is in the session, and Lucas Weisenberg going to be rounding out your field in 30th.
Currently they are lining up on the end of the hangar straight. There you can see even the brake markers heading right into Stowe, so it's a very short lap, not much time to heat up the tires on what is a relatively cool day, only 75 Fahrenheit on the track surface currently, 24 Celsius for those on the metric side of things. Just a couple more cars that were waiting to line up. I see Weisenberg, Johnson, and Bloom. Looks like Johnson is now out there, and Weisenberg is another one that is out of the session currently, so he will not be gridding. Everybody's out at this point. We just got to wait for the clock to tick down. There we go. Porsche pace car going to lead them off. Can Robinson try to challenge Teddy Framheim at the start? And will that be his best opportunity? to try and hassle him for the lead, because right now it seems like the 106 has a good amount of pace over everybody else. Up into Vale.
Yeah, it's going to be very tricky, I think, for anybody to try to get past Framheim or Brown, but they're going to try their best at the start as they get through Vale and get ready to go here, Joe.
Waiting for the green flag. He's holding them for a while. Long while here. Teddy Framheim waiting for it. Green flag is out, and he's slow off the line. Very slow. Robinson does get him, and as they come down into Abbey, he'll be well clear. Sends it in, gives them a little bit of space at the apex, but they almost come together. Behind them, it looks clean so far. Through Farm and into Village, and Framheim is back into the lead after losing it for one corner.
Absolutely hanging it out, but here comes Robinson fighting back on the inside of that arena section, trying to get a better run at the apex, but Framheim able to cover him off well and get a good blast down the line. We jump back to the GT4s though to see what's going on there. Travis Brown able to pull away with a big gap already, 7/10 of a second. Everybody on through. It looks like they are pretty single file from here on back.
Only one spinner, it seems. Horace Knight off and around out of Village. He gets it going without hitting anything. Thankfully, looking quite clean for the Porsche Owners Club round one out of 24. Meanwhile, as they come up towards Kops, Teddy Framheim with a gap of about 6/10 of a second over Robinson. Robinson with an equidistant gap back to Ost.
Yeah, they're keeping it all very, very close at the top of that leading division, the RSRs. I'm very surprised with Robinson's pace here, not letting Framheim slip away at all, and this whole RSR field just absolutely tooth and nail super close as they make their way now onto the Hangar Straight. This is one of the good overtaking opportunities, Joe. Some good drafting. You can see it there, battle for P4.
Looks like fourth going to go in favor of Fulton, just barely ahead of Johnson. And now Hollander thinks that he could take something out of this, then reconsiders. Up to the inside into Vale. That's Johnson on the attack. Around the outside into Club. He accelerates well and manages to get it back from Fulton, who almost pushes Hollander off the track onto the pit straight. Hollander's going to get the spot and up into P5.
Good run from Hollander, but this battle doesn't look like it is quite over just yet. Everybody's still going at it. Oh, you can see they're behind. Good battles happening all the way down the field.
Latvala trying to see if he can demote Fulton one more, and he's got him offline. Another lockup from the 277, and on a silver platter, Corey Latvala. Well, at first looks like he's got it, then he slows up, coming through Aintree, down the Wellington straight. The BJ Fulton has a nose ahead. He's going to be on the outside into Brooklands. Can he finally get this one done? He gives plenty of space at the apex, almost goes wide off the course. The battle continues wheel to wheel coming through Luffield, DJ.
Yeah, and Doug Boccioni and Ryan Salahi behind them, just absolutely loving this in the popcorn position as they are able to close right up to the back. Gets a little bit off there coming off the Woodcut, but here they come into Kops. Oh, that looked like Latvala tried to send it down the inside, but thinks better of it. Discretion, the better part of Valor there, lining up for this tricky Maggots-Beckett's complex. See who can get more speed down the Hangar Straight.
All four of them going in a line, nobody willing to try and take it too wide through there for now. And this is the important exit out of Chapel onto the Hangar Straight. Not really seeing an advantage amongst any of them, though they are starting to drop Salehi back in the fourth car in line, the ninth place car, seeming to struggle compared to these three.
Yeah, it looks like he just lost a lot of time off at Chapel. Wasn't nearly as aggressive under the brakes going into Stowe as the others. Now they work their way through Vale and Club, trying to find something, a little bit of an offline there for Boccioni, just trying to find something as to the surprise of absolutely no one. Teddy Framheim sets the fastest lap of the race, leaps and bounds above everybody else.
Looks like this may have calmed down a little bit. Let's check in on our GT4 leader. It was a lot closer for the first couple laps. Travis Brown was bringing along Jerry Freckleton. He must have broken the draft or something, because it's already up to 2 seconds.
Yeah, I was keeping my eye on it. He was just able to be a little bit more aggressive on the brakes, carry some more speed, specifically out of Woodcut and through Copse. That big gap really starting to develop on the middle part of this second lap.
Got to go back to Latvia because I think he got overtaken by Doug Baccignone out of Aintree. A beautiful move from the 581. Let's take a look at the replay here. After being on the attack for almost half a lap there, the 22 finds himself in the opposite seat.
And there you can see Latvia just locked up ever so slightly. That's Fulton in front of them locking up as well, but that sends Latvia on a very alternate line. Baccignone just being very heads up to get the move done out of arena and puts the power down coming on to Brooklands. He's able to get the move done around the outside, and there he goes.
Great stuff. So Doug up to 7th with that one. Can he try and chase Fulton back down? 1.3 seconds up the road as we come back live. There you see them on the hanger straight now. The green machine belonging to Doug, the yellow car belonging to Latvia, but he runs out of straightaway into Stowe. Still, he is quite close behind there under braking.
He is able to close that gap. Here he comes into this next sequence, this amazing little new sequence that they added, the Vale and Club sequence. Good fight back and forth. He's not able to get the move done quite yet. Ooh, you can see that gap starting to grow a little bit. I think Latvia locked up a little bit.
And I'm actually, well, I was missing Doug from my screen for quite some time. Seems to have had an internet connection issue. Looks like it may have sorted itself out. Really hope it does. Let's go to Nielsen Lawrence, who's trying to overtake Paul Newton, and Mr. Orange, unfortunately, having a big slip up out of the loop. A lot of wheel spin for the 217. And now he's going to be under threat. Here comes Lawrence up towards Brooklands, sends it in deep, takes the apex away from him. Not going to give the fight up easily as Newton hangs it around the outside. That gives him the inside to Luffield, but that looks like that is done as Nielsen Lawrence is into the top 10.
Good heads-up patience there from Nielsen Lawrence, not getting too aggressive. You saw him bobble a little bit coming out of the braking zone of Brooklands, but he's able to keep it. Although it looks like Newton's able to fight back a little bit more, able to carry some good speed through Copse there. We'll have to watch as they come through. But we're going to jump up Freckleton. Freckleton is off.
Oh, no. Second place slipping through his fingers. What happened here? I think this is all on his own. Yeah, there's nobody nearby.
No one at all. There you see this is coming into the first corner, and Abby gets a little bit too much of that curb, and that just sends the car off and around and very hard into the wall for the California driver.
Good news is they do have 2 spare cars in this series, so he can take it into the pits and get a fresh machine, but he'll be well down the order before all is said and done. Adam Fulton is now our second place driver in the GT4s, and Aaron Edwards gets promoted up to 3rd.
Adam Fulton very, very happy with that, but he is already a whopping 10 seconds behind Travis Brown. Brown just putting on an absolute masterclass in this GT4 category and pulling farther and farther away.
Yeah, seems like not many really have much to challenge him, unfortunately. Oh, we got a good battle here between Bayan Salehi and Paul Newton. Newton manages to take 10th. He's another one that's jumped over from the GT4s, and this was a couple corners in the making. He sent it into the loop. Let's take a look at just how this went down.
So here you go, going through that first corner of Abbey. You watch Newton here, lining everything up, seeing what he can do. And there's a little bit of a lockup. Oh, that's Salehi locking it up, going back in. There, Newton goes on by, pushes him a little bit wide through the first part of that, and then able to get the pass done before they get to the straightaway.
Let's go up to Hollander in 5th place. Michael Johnson just in front of him. And that Octavio Tequila car, unfortunately, having to weave left and right, not just to get by the traffic, but to just try and keep Matt Hollander from overtaking him. He goes way too deep into Stowe. He hangs it around the outside, somehow keeps it ahead of the 477, goes defensive down into Vale, just off the racing line to make Matt think twice.
Very heads up there from Michael W. Johnson, just absolutely positioning that car where it needs to be as they start to come on to some of this slower GT4 traffic. Oh, close call there for both of these drivers.
I think they actually touched Hollander, and that was Lane McNeil and the GT4s that he just brushed. We hop onto the nose of the 477, following Johnson into Village and Loop. He's right underneath that rear wing. Hollander looks hungry. They're coming out of Aintree. We've seen a few passes happen from here, and they're going to have possibly a pick up in front of them. Horace Knight up ahead. He stays off to the right side. Oh, big lockup from Hollander as Knight actually goes completely off track, just miscalculating the corner.
Really, really good car control there from Hollander. I thought for sure he was going to be in the wall, but you can see them. They're also starting to really catch a lot of these GT4 drivers, making this incredibly difficult. This is where you've got to start thinking about using the car in front of you as a pick to try to do it. That is Michael Ost right up the road, by the way, under a second ahead of them. So this battling not taking away their ability to close in on the gap to third.
Into the Maggots-Beckett sequence once again. Yeah, Ost is very, very close. My goodness. Amazed with how hard they've been fighting. Of course, the traffic could be hurting the 73 just as much, and maybe that's what's allowing them to be this close. Nothing happening there, but back behind them, is that a pass that I saw? No, excuse me, that was lap traffic. That was just Momire letting the likes of Boccignoni and Latvala through, but it is quite tight up to BJ Fulton.
It is indeed. BJ right, Latvala right up behind him there. You can see that is Fulton, Latvala, and Boccioni pretty much all on your screen, battling very, very closely for it. Latvala getting that car down out of that last corner of Club. He's got a good run here. He's going to try to keep it through Abbey and Farm. Looks like he has to back off ever so slightly. That gap extending very, very little for BJ Fulton, but Latvala closing back up under braking. That is the lap car of Freckleton ahead of them. Catches Fulton offline. Oh, even worse there. They're going to split the difference. Oh, and Latvala down the inside.
Oh, it doesn't pay off. In fact, I think this will give a great shot to Boccignoni. He has much better momentum than the pair of them. It starts to stall out a little bit as they come up to Brooklands, and no, just not enough straight away. Oh, so tantalizingly close for the 581. Around the outside now of Ron Palmer, fourth place in our GT4s. He does a great job holding his line, letting all of them through without much hassle. And look at this. Here we go again. Latvala could be brave down into Cops. Is he brave enough to send it 3 wide? No. And we had was that a spinning car ahead of them? I saw a whole lot of smoke there for a second.
Yes, it was indeed. I think that may have been
Fulton. Adam Fulton, yeah.
Yeah, it's Adam Fulton who lost it there. So this battle, though, massively continuing. Michael Ost, however, as we mentioned before, able to pull...
Sorry. That Fulton incident actually was significant. Michael Johnson hit Fulton and has lost fourth place. Hollander is by. Let's see. Let's try and look at the replay. I wonder how much damage Michael got out of that, because it was a decent hit. Looking for Adam Fulton and the 87 here.
That's Fulton in the white car right there, working his way through the Brooklyn complex, and there, coming up behind him. Yeah, that goes, I believe that's Robinson. Now Ost is going to come by.
Yeah, it'll be into Cops. So after Woodcote here. Yeah, there you can see him approaching in the background. It'll be the teal car that runs into this white Cayman. And it's not really Johnson's fault. You're going to see him lose it. Oh, we had just hopped off there for a second. Yeah, and just plowed into him.
Here we can see it again. Is there you see just gets a tire over onto the left side of the track. That sends him spinning and right back across the way of Johnson. And there you see Johnson, little bit of damage to the right front of that car and the left front as well. That whole front panel, a little bit messed up.
Well, that separated him as well. What if we could jump to BJ Fulton? Actually, there's going to be a pass here for Fulton, who is being overtaken by Corey Lotfula. There he is in the yellow car, yellow and black to the inside, taking a shallow line into Cops. Could be a switchover as Fulton has the more desired line, but he doesn't carry the speed as well. So Lotfula now up to 6th.
Corey really putting on a good race here tonight, just absolutely making the moves where he needs to. And now it looks like he's got a good run out of Chapel. He's going to be able to get the power on, but Fulton not letting him get away as much as I thought he would. He's going to keep it relatively static, hard braking here into Stowe, gets down on the power, and Fulton able to close up a lot.
Looking very strong for sure. I've been keeping an eye on some of our GT4s. Apologies for fans of any of our drivers in the slower class. There's been no battles, but second place is closing in. Actually, it's closed in a lot just in this half lap. Palmer has gone from what was roughly a full second to now 0.2 of a second. Palmer gaining more than I expected. Is there damage on the number 5?
I'm looking, Joe. I'm not sure if I see any, although that's a very, very strange line from Aaron Edwards in the 5. There you see as they work their way through. I don't see any damage on that car at all. I think he may have just been caught out by some faster cars, forced to take an offline. But this battle is now really heated up. That's Jerry Freckleton behind them with the roof or the hood blown off of that car, but he's making this throw a blanket over the top of the 2, 3, and 4 here.
Yeah, he's doing the best of what he can with what he's got, and that might be a podium today despite a hard hit with the wall. Good under braking down into Village, making Palmer think twice after thinking he might have a position in front of him. Now he's got to play defense. In fact, he makes a mistake coming off the loop, and here comes Freckleton. He's in the slipstream, and he's going to need it because that car is not aerodynamic right now as they speed down the Wellington straight. The 57 looks to the inside, thinks maybe he could outbrake him. He's very deep and almost gets into him, scares him off the racing line, and Palmer says, no, thank you. You can go through.
Absolutely love that from Freckleton. Car is damaged, and he's still got the guts to make the move him up into a podium position. But the one thing that he's going to have problems with, Joe, you saw it on that straight. The aerodynamics of that car are terrible, and he does not have the straight line speed, so he has got to make up time in the twisty bits.
So is he quicker than Edwards as well? It's about 1.5 seconds up to the number 5. Obviously, he was catching Palmer. Now that he's gotten by him, that could change, especially with the pressure being a little bit more off now. Edwards getting some comfort between himself and the driver who qualified second in the GT4s. I'm half watching this and also half watching the battle for 6th, which isn't on right now, but it's been getting close from time to time in the GTEs. Down the hanger straight, Edwards well clear of Freckleton, and probably the place where he's going to pull away here as he's got the better straight line speed.
Yeah, Freckleton's going to be really hoping to make up an advantage through the arena section and through Maggots and Beckett's. He's not going to be able to make any sort of slipstream maneuver go, and you can see just on that lap how much Palmer was able to close up down the hanger straight. So not the best position for Freckleton to be in, but you have to say it is really a testament to his ability as a driver that he's able to keep it this close.
He's got it down to 0.6. Remember, it was up to 1.4 not too long ago. They come down through Abbey into Farm. This is one of the more popular places to try and overtake, but he's way too far back. He does show his nose. He's trying to get into the head of the 5 very early.
Yeah, he is, and that may be the way to try to get this move done. You know, we talk about mentality with drivers all the time. You've really got to get into the head of the driver in front, just psych him out a little bit. That's how he got by on that last lap. He just showed the nose to Ron Palmer, and Ron Palmer forced to back off. So I think that's what Freckleton's trying to do with Aaron Edwards here.
Who's got the better mental fortitude in this one, though? Is Edwards able to withstand the pressure? Still stays at about 0.6 of a second. They're going to come into the more technical latter half of the course here through Copse, Maggots, and Beckett's, and then it's another long straight on the Hanger Straight. He really needs to make inroads here. 10 minutes left, so we're already 2/3 of the way through today's event.
I didn't even realize it had gone by that quick, Joe. But we're going to jump back here to the P6 battle in the GTE category, the RSRs. This is Latvala and Fulton continuing this great battle we've seen.
Over the lap traffic that they go by. Larry Haas just staying off to the side. They were gaining on Michael Johnson for a little bit. Remember, he has his damage too, but I wonder if Johnson's starting to get the handle of that car because he's pulled away just a hair since I last looked. Oh, and Edwards is side by side. Edwards has managed to catch, Freckleton has managed to catch Edwards, rather, and he's fully through. Edwards could try and fight back down into Vale. Defensive move. No, back to the racing line for Freckleton. He feels confident about this one.
Making it work going into Stowe, defying a little bit of the logic that I had laid out there, Joe. He was able to get the pass after the long straightaway and into the heavy braking zone of Stowe. So kudos to Jerry Freckleton, moving him back to his original starting position of P2 in the GT4 class.
The bad news is he's 36 seconds behind Travis Brown now. Travis has been putting on a clinic. Our GT4 leader is just looking unstoppable. So everybody's going to be scratching their heads after today's round, wondering what do we got to do to stop this guy and keep this from happening at other rounds. There you see him on screen with 8 minutes remaining. Now that we've got the time, I think the battle's still close for 5th, as Johnson has been caught now. Latvala's got it down to 0.4 of a second, but look at Fulton. Fulton is all over that gearbox.
Oh, he is just absolutely trying to press every way he can. Goes down the inside into the first corner. Latvala goes for the over-under, but Fulton late on the brakes and heavy on the guts there through Abbey and Farm, makes it work.
I don't think I've ever seen a pass like that into Abbey. Let's watch this. I almost wonder if Latvala helped him out a little bit, if he saw it coming and decided it's better to make it through the corner alive than both of them come together. He leaves the door open, and there he goes through and never looks back. BJ Fulton up to 1.6 seconds up to Johnson. That did help the 18 get a little bit more of a comfortable gap, but he goes a little wide coming through Luffield. Baccignone now starting to gain on these two.
Yeah, this battle is just absolutely intense. And Joe, to your point about Latvala letting him take that opportunity, is he's now thinking about going to the inside of Copse. I think for Latvala, he saw him coming, was hoping he was going to outbrake himself, and you saw how quickly he went to go to the outside of Farm. I think he was hoping for an over-under defensive maneuver there, and clearly just did not expect Fulton to be able to get the power down in the way that he was. So Latvala getting caught out, and now he's got to play catch-up and look in his rearview mirrors as Doug Baccignone looking very, very strong, challenging down the Hanger Straight.
581's been racy today. He's going to get the slipstream, but he's not going to have enough straightaway to make use of it. They head into Stowe. A little bit more traffic in front of him. Adam Fulton, who's probably glad to see Johnson past him without making contact, stays off to the right side. As all three of them, and outbraking there from Fulton, sending it in too deep. He's way offline and tries to come back on, and that's going to slow up Latvala. And now both of them are compromised as Doug Baccignone. Can he do anything with it? This is the second time we've seen him have this situation, and the second time that he just can't quite do enough with what he sees in front of him.
Oh, Doug Baccignoni's got to be pounding his steering wheel, just unable to capitalize when he needs to. And kudos to him, let's be very clear. He's looking at that situation going, I'm not going to wreck everybody's race here. That's clearly what his mentality was, and good for him. But the problem for Doug Baccignone is that's allowed for Nielsen Lawrence to catch back up to the back of him, bringing Paul Newton with him as well. So this is about to be a 5-car battle if they're not careful.
Holy smokes. And with only 5 minutes left, we've got, all of 2 or 3 laps here. Drivers are really going to have to hustle. Horace Knight is in front of them. He's going to stay off to the outside through Woodcote. So that shouldn't interrupt things between Latvala and Fulton. They'll continue on by, but what about for Baccignone into Kops? Oh, he catches him in a horrible place. Oh, and suddenly way off course, Nielsen Lawrence checks up. He's going to lose his spot to a very savvy Paul Newton who slips on by. Can we get an onboard with the 302 on that one? That was a miraculous save, but just horrible timing for him.
I genuinely do not know how he was able to catch this. You see it here. You see everything starting to develop in front. You see there he goes in, just completely out of control, doing his best, Fast and the Furious, drifting the car through Kops. He's able to catch it, but that then allows them to get Baccignone to get on by. Just insanity here tonight in the Porsche Owners Club.
Really is. So I guess that's the next installment, Fast and the Furious London Drift, as we come around to 2 laps to go next time by. Wow, Teddy Framheim is way ahead of everyone, much like our GT4 leader. 7 seconds to Robinson. It's not as massive, but the rest of the field is nowhere to be seen.
Nowhere at all. These leaders just putting on an absolute masterclass for the rest of these drivers out here today. Really, really great stuff.
There's our leader, Teddy Framheim, coming up to Kops just now in that deep blue number 106. I think, let's see, it's going to be marginal, and if he can get back in time to start another lap and have 2 to go or 1 to go, I think he'll have 2 to go from what I can estimate here. In the meantime, Corey Latvala and Fulton still fighting for P6, still separated by 2 or 3 tenths of a second.
And Joe, I was keeping an eye on that battle. Latvala was able to get the position back from Fulton, going down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands, just got to the inside and out-braked Fulton. But now Fulton going to try to fight back through Maggots and Beckett's here, seeing what he can do, maybe get a better run down the Hanger Straight and into Stowe.
Through the S's. Oh, and coming out of there, it's looking very good for BJ Fulton. He's going to get a massive tow on the 22. Corey doesn't defend. He takes to the racing line. Fulton, is he going to send it? They come up to Stowe. He thinks about it. He's trying to get his nose in. He does get the overlap between them, but it'll allow the defense for Corey Latvala coming down into Vale. Once again, the battle continues from multiple corners here. Fulton tries to stick with it, but he loses out.
Not able to get it done there. That was really good from Latvala, just squeezing him down at Stowe, not letting him by. But here comes Fulton. What can he do? He's not going to make another gutsy pass there through Abbey, but he's close through Farm. Can he send it up the inside here at the arena section? No, he cannot, but look at him close up under braking. Doug Baccignone starting to lose a little bit of touch with these guys, but Paul Newton close behind him. Here they come down the Wellington Straight out of that last corner there of the arena section. Looks like Latvala's got the advantage over Fulton for now.
But they do have 2 laps to go because Framheim passed the start-finish line with about 3 minutes left. That's a minute too many if they wanted a white flag next time by. So these drivers are going to have to continue to fight and work hard. Oh, we have a big wreck with Mark Rondeau and Jim Slavic, I believe. And this involved, this was with a GT4 car as well. That was Horace Knight, sadly.
And there you can see some of the lingering implications as we jump back to a replay here. Oh, very hard under braking, just massive contact from everybody. Here we go. This is coming into the first corner. This is Abbey. They go down. Oh, over brake, goes 3 wide, catches that slower GT4 and blammo.
Just like pinballs, unfortunately, as they hit one another and fly off the track. White flag now waving for Teddy Framheim as he comes through. now with a 9-second lead, almost 10 seconds actually. Compare that to Travis Brown, 49 seconds to Jerry Freckleton.
Absolutely insane from Travis Brown, although it should be noted that Freckleton did have that damage and have to fight back, so maybe a little bit misleading, but still an absolutely incredible performance from both Brown and Framheim here tonight.
Looking at the fight between Fulton and Latvala, unfortunately Fulton has now gone to a rear guard because Baccignoni is 3/10 behind. I wouldn't count out Paul Newton. He is a very savvy driver from what we saw last season in the GT4s. They come off onto the Wellington straight. Latvala continues to peel away. He's making good on breaking that draft. What about those behind them in this final lap of the race? Is this going to be enough for Baccignoni to manage to get 7th away from Fulton?
Looked like Fulton took a little bit too much curb than he wanted to there coming through Luffield, but he's able to keep it nice and steady. Baccignoni falling back ever so slightly through Woodcut, not really able to do it. He jinks out to the inside, trying to psych out Fulton, but Fulton has absolutely none of it, just keeping on his racing line. Is that looked like there was contact up ahead between Mehmet Karase and Corey Latvala, and that pulls Latvala back to BJ Fulton.
Unfortunately, we got to duck away from the battle. We'll try and get to it later because Teddy Framheim, as he exits out of tow. Oh, and that's Robinson right behind him. What is going on with Framheim? Damage on the car. He's still going to manage the win, but barely by half a second. We'll go back and look at that in a little bit. In the meantime, Travis Brown is just ahead of this fight. Let's hope that they don't run into him. He's got to be aware of what's going on behind him because look at that side-by-side between BJ Fulton and Corey Latvala. Latvala is going to be able to get ahead and take 6th place away as just behind them, Travis Brown, with nearly a minute gap, wins for the GT4s.
And Doug Baccignoni, you could see it there, went super aggressive through that last corner of Club, tried to claw back on it, and it ended in disaster for him. Paul Newton able to get by him, Baccignoni finishing down in 9th.
Meanwhile, we've got a battle for 3rd between Edwards and Momeyer. As they come up the hangar straight, it is pretty powerful in these GT4s. Momeyer very, very close, and behind them some lap traffic. Michael Roban. Oh, he's going to send it in, and he gets into the side of him. Both of them slide off track. Nobody hits anything. Are they going to be able to get it going and get to the line? That was Slavic. That's a GTE car. It's not for position. Edwards gets moving first, and I think he is going to be able to claim this podium position. Wow, what an end to things. Outbraking himself on top of it. Momeyer struggling with a damaged car at the end as Edwards crashes into the inside wall. Framheim's happened out of Aintree, I can report. I managed to get back and sneak it in on the final lap. Let's see if we can get the 106. Okay, yes, so we've got it right here. And this is a pretty good lick to the inside wall on the Wellington straight here, DJ.
So he gets out of the lapped car's way, but gets a little bit out of position, runs, just a little bit of oversteer there, comes off onto the grass, onto that AstroTurf. That sends him spinning, and he's got to just try to get back into the groove and get going, and really amazing job from him to be able to keep that car pointed in the right way and stay out ahead of Matthew Robinson.
That had to be nerve-wracking, but kudos to the 106. That was a fascinating end that I was not expecting. We're going to take a quick break, though. We'll come back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews, so stick around. welcome back to Silverstone. The first race of the season for the Porsche Owners Club was won by Teddy Framheim. And it was a much bigger margin for much of the race. That 0.3 of a second, 0.4 of a second really, only happened in the final lap when Teddy wrecked and gave up his entire lead to Matthew Robinson, who had to play defense on. Robinson just so close to winning there at the final stage. Oss, with a quiet third place, finished ahead of Matthew Hollander, who had some good fights with Michael Johnson, who was fifth behind him. Corey Lotvala, what fun he had, down in sixth place with BJ Fulton in seventh, Paul Newton in eighth, and Nielsen Lawrence in ninth. All of them racing hard amongst themselves. Bayan Salehi with a P10 in the GTEs. Eric Hagendick is finishing 11th today, and didn't really get to see him a whole lot, but a nice consistent run. Jacob Abrams finished P12, sadly, in the end. Jad Duncan with the 13th, and Michael Bolton finished 14th. Then it's Doug Baccignoni wrecking on the final corner and having to settle for P15. Was ahead of Michael Roban in 16th, Jim Slavic in 17th, and Mark Rondeau in 18th.
Travis Brown putting on the masterclass of masterclasses to bring home that GT4 top position. Jerry Freckleton fighting back from an early incident to come back and get P2 in that division, followed by Aaron Edwards and John Momeyer. We saw them battling. Horace Knight involved in a little bit of incidents there, here and there, but able to come home behind them, followed by Adam Fulton, Ron Palmer, Lane McNeil, Mehmet Karasi, and Larry Haas. Connor Bloom unable to finish the race in that top spot.
I believe we've got our winner ready to talk to us, Teddy Framheim, winning the GTE class. But Teddy, it almost looked like you considered that one too easy and you made it hard on yourself at the end.
Yeah, you could say that. I'm just watching the replay now. One stupid tire off in the grass. I thought I had room, picked up some understeer, and suddenly did not.
Well, I have to imagine, do you feel relieved that you had worked up as big of a gap that you had over the race because of that?
Of course, but obviously in this moment I'm beating myself up a bit about the fact that, I mean, despite that, little mistakes like this have the potential to throw it all away, so don't feel great about it.
Well, in the end, you did take the top spot and you got the max points there, and that kicks off what is a long season with a good points haul. Is this what you're looking for? Do you think over a year's worth you can take another championship home?
You know, I'm not sure if I have the longevity. I have to think long and hard about that, and pick my battles. But for sure, like you say, it's a good start. I'm ultimately happy with the result.
Well, thanks for coming and talking to us. Is there anybody you'd like to thank for today's win?
I'd love to continue winning myself. I would like to thank my family, as always, for watching. A new sponsor this time around, not a sponsor technically, but iRacing for building my spec Boxster, which I'll be campaigning in real life for the first time this year. And honestly, thanks also to POC, Matt Hollander, and to you guys for broadcasting these, because again, it's great to share all of this with folks who maybe don't necessarily know what sim racing is all about.
We enjoy getting to share it with the world ourselves. That was Teddy Framheim, winner in the GTEs. Meanwhile, DJ's caught up with the GT4 winner who stomped the field, Travis Brown.
Travis, that looked like a very quiet race from you out there, but one that you positively dominated. Talk us through that.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. It was fun getting out there. I don't drive this car a whole lot, but it felt, just the setup felt great, so it was fun.
Well, you could have fooled us in terms of not driving this car that often. I mean, it looks like you just had leaps and bounds over this field. Where were you finding the speed, Travis?
I think through the S's, it just felt super planted, just getting the rhythm right. I do love this track, so I haven't driven this car a lot, but I've driven this track a lot, so it definitely helps.
Well, I have to ask then, how familiar are you with the Nürburgring, the next track up on the circuit? Can we expect another round domination from you?
Is it the GP or is it the full green hell?
Oh no, it's just the GP. It's just the GP. You're fine.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was gonna say if it was the full thing, I don't know if yeah, that'd be dangerous. But yeah, the GP, I like that one a lot too. So yeah, it's definitely a fave.
Well, we will be watching with trepidation to see if you are able to put another stomping in like you did tonight. Before we let you go, Travis, anybody you need to thank?
Michael Ost, actually, he's this weekend out at Streets of Willow at the track day. He's the one who convinced me to sign up and do the league this year. So it was a good time. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Travis, and congratulations once again on a first place.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, and now Joe Peak has caught up with our second place finisher in the RSR category, Matthew Robinson.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Matthew, congratulations on second, but I have to wonder, we heard Teddy say he was kicking himself a little bit for the mistake, but are there any mistakes that you're beating yourself up over? Because you were so close to that win. Was there any point where you think, if I hadn't made this mistake, that would have been mine?
I was a little bit of a deer caught in the headlights when all of a sudden Teddy came up and turned 6-7, and so I checked up versus tucking underneath him. But other than that, I was pretty happy with how it all went.
So satisfaction with the podium here today, and we mentioned with Teddy that solid points, obviously, at the start of a very long season. Do you think that it's possible to challenge him for wins this season? Do you think you could beat him on sheer pace?
He's a great sim driver. He's been kind enough to let me see his data, and he's just got real nice consistency and real nice brake release. So you know what? I'll keep buying fancier and fancier toys and see if I can figure it out.
Isn't that the way it goes in racing? I mean, speaking of which, you're obviously focusing hard on trying to improve here. Have you noticed any of the sim racing helping your real world driving?
Yeah, back when I was doing a fair amount of amateur racing, I would use iRacing ahead of most of the tracks, and it was material. I mean, I remember one time at Auto Club, I was a 10th off the lap record within 6 real laps, and so it's a great tool and one I really enjoy using.
Really phenomenal testament to what iRacing does offer to real world racers. Well, congratulations, Matthew, and do feel free to thank whoever you'd like to thank on the way out today.
Yeah, listen, I'd love to thank my wife, who's patient enough to let me sit in the garage and grind it out on this thing. So thank you, Kelsey. I appreciate it.
Oh, great stuff there from Matthew Robinson. Up next, it's Jerry Freckleton, who wasn't quite as close as Robinson was to the lead in the GT4s.
Hi, how you doing?
We're good, man. I mean, talk us through that. Obviously.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
What a rookie mistake. I ended up got too much of the grass, and I lost the rear of the car. I was beside myself, and then it was like a rush to get away from the wall after it hit it, and I didn't even know that the front hood was gone. But that Airwolf 3D machine worked really, really good. And if it weren't for the mistakes, we probably would have been a little bit closer. But I'll tell you, first place was gone.
Yeah, he took off into the distance. So I have to ask you, we were watching it and maybe making a little bit of idle speculation. Were you losing time down the straights, or was that just kind of a trick of the eye?
Well, yes, but actually where I was really losing the time is he was so much smoother coming off of the corner. So that gave him more acceleration going down the corner than what I had. So yes, he was faster down the straightaway, but because that he came off the corner so much smoother than I. Follow what I'm saying?
I got you exactly, Jerry. So I guess the obvious follow-up question then is, we head to the Nürburgring next. We've got another 22 races after that. Do you have anything in the tank for Travis?
Oh, we've got some stuff in the works. So I have Michael Johnson's helping me out quite a bit, is being a coach for me. And every time we get together, we get a little bit better and better and better. I was nowhere near like this 2 weeks ago.
Well, that makes this broadcaster very excited to see the rest of this season.
Yeah.
Jerry, before we let you go, anybody you need to thank tonight?
Well, we just want to thank my girlfriend, if anybody, the 3D Airwolf 3D, and Michael Johnson for helping me like he's been doing, and GSR for the coverage, and the Porsche Owners Club for allowing this to go on.
Well, thank you very much, Jerry, and congratulations again on a well-deserved second.
Well, I appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. We'll talk to you next time.
Sounds good. And finally tonight, Joe Peak has caught up with the third-place finisher in the RSR category, Michael Ost.
Yeah, and possibly the least eventful person we've talked to yet. Everybody else had all these dramas happening. Michael, it looked like it was just kind of a quiet run to third for you.
You know what? This day started out really tough. I decided to do a little practice after lunch and take a little break, and I was just running 57s, high 57s. I could not even break into the 56s. I wanted to throw the computer through the window, but I don't know. You know, I had some magic ribs and had some nice dinner and sat down and put together a qualifying lap and got in the game. So, you know, as I watched Teddy and Matthew drive, you know, keep a nice pace, and they were at a distance, I just decided if I could keep a nice pace and keep everybody behind me away and keep everybody in front of me away, then I'll just take a third place.
Okay, I'm curious then, and I need to order me some. How many tenths do magic ribs get you?
Apparently, they got me about a second and a half almost.
Ooh.
About 1.4 seconds. Yeah.
Okay, what grocery store do I need to go shop at?
Right? Cook them at 300 degrees for 2.5 hours, and then put them on the grill, and that you'll be magic with your favorite sauce.
I'm gonna give that a go and see if it helps me at all. But we've talked about it a lot with the other drivers. The Nürburgring going to be a little bit of a different beast, but also another modern F1 track. Do you fare well there?
I think it'll be a really fun track. The RSRs have enough downforce. I think it'll make it a lot of fun. I was really surprised at Silverstone being a Formula One track and having as much space as it has, how hard it was to pass, because we did a lot of practice races, and you know, because we had the whole holiday, and it's a really hard place to pass because you're still using the whole track. So it should be interesting to see if it's kind of the same setup where it's really fast but still really hard to pass. I'm not sure.
From my experience of coverage, it tends to be a little tough. So hopefully it is at least some good racing somewhere.
Yeah,
in the
I've
race.
driven there on Sims before, and it's a really fun track. I enjoy it a lot for sure.
It's a difficult one. I can tell you that from my experience, at least for me. But again, congratulations on a podium, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you in a couple weeks' time.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. And and a special little shout out for Travis Brown. We were racing at Streets of Willow, the POC, this weekend, and he autocrosses with us a lot. And I was talking with him, and he said that he does some iRacing, and I said, well, you got to join the crowd. And I see like he actually got first place on his first race out. So good on him.
Absolutely. Good on him, but consternation for everybody else as he definitely dominated. That was Michael Ost, our third place finisher here today. And I believe that will do it for us. That's the last of our interviews. So let's take a quick break to thank everybody who sponsors this series, of course, to Porsche, because there is no substitute. Find out more about them at Porsche.com. And then, of course, Sunset Mortgage. Don't put your money in the bank, be the bank. Check them out today at sunsetcash.net. Then there's Octavio Tequila. Celebrate now. For a great tasting tequila, go to octaviotequila.com and purchase today. Then there's Century Financial Consultants, making the rest of your life the best of your life. You can check out their website at centuryretired.com. A thanks goes to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcast we've listed here on your screen. And additional thanks go to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. Her Bandcamp is listed here as well. Thanks to the team today, Sean, DJ, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. There's also our social media, which includes Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. If you'd like to support us, our merchandise store is simply gsrc.storeenvy.com. We've got a link in the description below. But while you're down there, make sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. The next race, as we mentioned, the Nürburgring Grand Prix course will host on Monday, January 25th at 11 p.m. Eastern. But we have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard. See you on the track.